Exhaustion weighed on me as I boarded my flight home from Seattle. 5 days of corporate meetings had left me craving nothing but my kids' laughter and the comfort of my own bed. Just as we prepared for takeoff, a text from my brother Jake flashed on my screen, "Don't go home tonight." My heart skipped. "Why? What's wrong?" I typed frantically. "Just trust me and stay away." Before I could respond, the flight attendant ordered phones off. For the entire flight, my mind raced with terrifying possibilities. Let me know in the comments where you are watching from, and if you ever received a message that made your blood run cold. The past 5 days in Seattle had been nothing short of exhausting. One corporate meeting after another, endless PowerPoint presentations, and networking events that stretched well into the night. All I wanted now was to get home to Lisa and the kids. Sam had just turned 10 last month, and Emma would be celebrating her 8th birthday next week. I had promised to help her plan her unicorn-themed party when I returned. As the plane took off, that mysterious text from Jake burned in my mind. My brother and I had always been close, growing up in our small town in Oregon. He was 3 years younger, but often seemed like the wiser one. Jake had gone into IT while I pursued business management, and though our paths diverged, we remained tight. At least until recently. The past year had created some distance between us. With my increasing business trips, and his new startup consuming all his time, our weekly beers had dwindled to occasional text messages. Still, he was the one who helped set up all our home technology whenever we needed it. Lisa jokingly called him our personal IT department. Lisa, what could possibly be wrong at home? We had been married for 12 years now. Sure, there had been rough patches recently, with my travel schedule intensifying. 3 business trips in the past 2 months alone. Lisa had mentioned feeling like a single parent during our last phone call, her voice tinged with frustration. But we had always worked through our problems before. 4 hours trapped in the air, with no way to contact Jake, felt like torture. Every possible scenario played through my mind, each one worse than the last. Home invasion. Fire. Accident. My palms grew sweaty as I checked my watch repeatedly, willing the plane to fly faster. The moment we landed, I switched my phone back on and called Jake. Straight to voicemail. I tried again. Nothing. Next, I called Lisa. No answer. I sent texts to both of them, landing now. What's going on? No response. My anxiety crescendoed with each unanswered call. I collected my luggage in a daze, barely registering the crowds around me. Normally after a business trip, I'd be rushing home with anticipation, eager to scoop up Emma and Sam in my arms, listening to their excited chatter about what I'd missed. Now I was paralyzed with dread. Despite Jake's warning, or perhaps because of it, I knew I needed answers. Instead of heading home to our suburban house in Kirkland, I pointed my rental car toward Jake's apartment in Capitol Hill. The evening traffic crawled at an agonizing pace. Rain pelted against the windshield, matching my turbulent thoughts. Whatever Jake needed to tell me, I wanted to hear it face to face. The 40-minute drive stretched into an hour and 15 minutes. By the time I pulled up to Jake's building, it was completely dark outside, the rain coming down in sheets. I parked haphazardly and ran to his entrance, soaking my suit in the process. Jake opened his door after my third knock. His appearance shocked me. His normally neat hair was disheveled, his eyes bloodshot as if he'd been crying or hadn't slept in days. The apartment behind him was uncharacteristically messy, takeout containers piled on the coffee table, blinds drawn. "Avery," he said, his voice hoarse. "You should have stayed away like I told you." "What the hell is going on?" I demanded, pushing past him into the apartment. "I haven't heard from Lisa. The kids aren't answering the house phone." "You can't send a text like that and then go radio silent." Jake closed the door slowly, shoulders slumped. "Sit down, man." "I don't want to sit down. I want answers." "Is everyone safe? Are the kids okay?" "Physically, everyone is fine," Jake said carefully, motioning again to the couch. "Please just sit." I reluctantly sank onto the couch, noticing now that Jake's laptop was open on the coffee table, surrounded by energy drink cans and crumpled papers. "You remember about 3 months ago when you mentioned being concerned about home security while you travel?" Jake began sitting across from me in an armchair. After that break in 2 streets over from your place, I nodded slowly. You installed the new system. Cameras, motion detectors, the works. Jake took a deep breath. I did more than that. I also installed some monitoring software. On the home computers, the tablets even linked in with phone activities. You did what my initial concern morphed into irritation. Without telling us, Jake, that's an invasion of privacy. Those are our personal devices. I know, he raised his hands defensively. I was going to tell you, but then you got busy with work, and I thought it was for the best. To keep you all safe when you're away. I rubbed my temples, feeling a headache forming. Part of me was angry at this breach of trust, but another part recognized Jake had meant well. He had always been protective, sometimes to a fault. So what's the emergency? Did the system catch a break in attempt? Or something? Jake looked down at his hands. No. Nothing like that. He seemed to be struggling to find the right words. The system flags unusual activities. Sends me alerts. Yesterday, it picked up something. Concerning how I press my patience wearing thin. It's better if I show you, Jake said, turning to his laptop. I felt my stomach tighten. Whatever had made my usually composed brother this upset had to be serious. Despite my frustration with his surveillance overreach, a sense of gratitude began to form. Perhaps his intrusion, however misguided, had uncovered something important. Before I show you this, Jake said, his finger hovering over the keyboard, I need you to know I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't think it was absolutely necessary. This is going to be hard to see. My mouth went dry. Just show me, Jake. Jake opened a folder labeled with my address and clicked on a video file. The timestamp showed it was from 3 days ago when I was already in Seattle. The footage showed our living room, the camera angle capturing most of the space from a corner shelf where Jake had mounted one of the security cameras. Lisa appeared in the frame, pacing back and forth with her phone pressed to her ear. She was speaking quietly, her free hand gesturing animatedly. The audio was faint, but clear enough to make out her words. I can't talk long. No hes in Seattle until Friday. I know I miss you too. We need to be careful. I stared at the screen, my brain refusing to process what I was hearing. She's probably talking to her sister, I said automatically. Or her mother. Jake gave me a sympathetic look but said nothing, just clicked to the next video. This one showed Lisa at our kitchen table, laptop open, smiling at the screen in a way I hadn't seen in months. She was video chatting with someone, laughing, touching her hair in that flirtatious way she'd done when we first dated. I couldn't see who was on the other end. This proves nothing, I insisted, though doubt had begun to creep in. She's allowed to have friends. Avery, Jake said gently. There's more. The next video showed Lisa meeting a man at a coffee shop downtown. The footage was clearly from outside the security system, grainier, and shot from a distance. Did you follow my wife? I asked incredulously. I hired someone, Jake admitted. After I saw the first few videos, I was concerned. I needed to know if... He trailed off. In the video, Lisa was sitting close to a man I didn't recognize. Tall with dark hair, styled in an expensive cut. They were holding hands across the table. As I watched, she leaned forward and kissed him briefly. The room seemed to tilt. There has to be an explanation, I whispered, but the conviction had drained from my voice. Jake scrolled through more photos, Lisa and this man entering a hotel, leaving 2 hours later. Lisa shopping for expensive lingerie I had never seen. Text message logs between them, full of intimate language and future plans. Each image felt like a physical blow. 12 years of marriage, the mother of my children, my best friend. The betrayal cut so deep, I could barely breathe. I'm sorry, Avery, Jake said softly. I debated whether to tell you at all. But then I found something else. I looked up, wondering what could possibly be worse than discovering my wife's affair. It's about Sam and Emma, Jake said, his voice dropping even lower. My parental instincts immediately overrode my personal pain. What about them? Are they hurt? Not physically, Jake said. But Lisa, she's been telling them things. About you. He played another video. This one from our family room. Lisa was sitting with the kids on the couch, Sam's homework spread out on the coffee table. Your father doesn't need to know about this, she was saying. He doesn't really care anyway. Hez always too busy with work to worry about us. But Dad said Hez working hard for us. Sam replied, his young face confused. That's what he tells you, Lisa said dismissively. But the truth is he chooses to be away from us. He could get another job, one that keeps him home, but he doesn't want to. Sometimes I think he likes being away from us. I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach. Emma, my sweet little girl, looked up at her mother with wide eyes. Doesn't Daddy love us anymore? Lisa stroked Emma's hair. Of course he does in his way, just not enough to stay home with us. That's a lie, I said hoarsely, my hands clenching into fists. That's a complete lie. I took this job because it paid better. Because Lisa wanted to renovate the kitchen because the kids deserve the best schools. Jake played another clip. This time Lisa was coaching Emma before one of our video calls. Remember what to say if Daddy asks if you're happy, Lisa prompted. Say, I'm sad because he left again, Emma recited. And if he asks about school, say, my teacher was mean and nobody played with me. I watched in horror as Lisa systematically taught my daughter to lie to me to make me feel guilty when I was away. The next clip showed her doing the same, with Sam instructing him to act distant and uninterested during our calls. My mind flashed back to our video conversations that week, how both kids had seemed withdrawn, how Emma had mentioned being lonely at school. I'd spent the whole conference worried sick about her, even calling her teacher after hours to check if there were problems I should know about. There are dozens more like this, Jake said quietly. She's been doing it for months, every time you travel. I thought I knew pain when I saw Lisa with another man, but this was a different kind of agony. She wasn't just betraying me. She was poisoning my relationship with my children, manipulating them, using them as weapons. I hate Daddy, Emma said in another clip after Lisa had spent 10 minutes telling her that I had chosen to miss her school play when in reality, Lisa had given me the wrong date. My daughter, who used to run into my arms the moment I walked through the door, was being taught to hate me. I can't watch anymore, I said, turning away from the screen. But Jake grabbed my arm. There's one more thing you need to see, he said gravely. This is from this morning. The final video Jake showed me delivered the crushing blow I never saw coming. Lisa was in our home office speaking with someone on a video call. As Jake increased the volume, I recognized the man from the coffee shop and hotel footage. But this wasn't just any conversation. Trevor, do you think the judge will grant me full custody? Lisa asked, organizing papers on the desk. We need to move quickly. The man Trevor nodded confidently. With the documentation we've created, showing Avery's neglect and absence, plus the children's testimonies we've rehearsed, the judge will have no choice. You'll get the house substantial child support and full custody, with minimal visitation rights for him. My blood ran cold as I realized I was watching my wife and her lover, who appeared to be a lawyer, plotting to destroy me legally. 6 months of groundwork is about to pay off, Lisa continued. Avery's been away so much. It'll be easy to paint him as an absent father who puts career before family. Trevor smiled. And the best part is, he'll never see it coming. By the time he realizes what's happening, have the children safely away from him. Lisa nodded, checking her watch. The papers are ready to be filed tomorrow. Tonight he'll pack the essentials while he's still in Seattle. You can pick us up around 9 and go straight to your lake house. By the time Avery gets home tomorrow evening, we'll be unreachable. My entire world collapsed around me. Not only was Lisa having an affair and turning my children against me, but she planned to take them away permanently using manufactured evidence to deny me access to Sam and Emma. I looked at Jake in shock. She was planning to leave tonight. With my kids, Jake nodded grimly. That's why I texted you. I couldn't let her take them before you had a chance to fight back. Pure rage flooded my system, quickly replaced by cold, focused determination. I'd been blindsided by betrayal, but I wasn't going to let Lisa steal my children based on lies. What time is it now? I asked, checking my watch. 7:30. If Lisa planned to leave at 9, we had less than 90 minutes to act. I'm calling David, Jake said, already dialing. Hez still on the force and can help us. While Jake spoke to his friend who worked as a police officer, I called Martin Goldstein, a lawyer I'd met through business connections. I explained the situation as calmly as I could, emphasizing the video evidence we had of Lisa coaching the children to lie and planning to flee with them. This is parental alienation and potential child abduction, Martin said firmly. I'm filing for an emergency temporary custody order right now. Don't confront her yet. We need to catch her in the act. Jake hung up his call. David's bringing a patrol car. Hell, meet us near your house in 30 minutes. And I need to send these videos to my lawyer, I said, my mind racing through next steps. Can you copy them to a secure drive? While Jake prepared the evidence, I struggled to process everything. The woman I'd loved and trusted for 12 years had been systematically working to destroy me, using our children as pawns. The depth of betrayal was unfathomable. There's something else you should know about Trevor Wilson, Jake said as he worked. I ran a background check. Has been disciplined by the Bar Association twice for ethical violations. And he has a history of dating vulnerable married women going through divorces. This additional information only reinforced my determination. This wasn't just about Lisa and me anymore. It was about protecting Sam and Emma from being used as tools in a vicious scheme. By 8:15, we were in Jake's car heading toward my home with David following in his patrol car. Jake's laptop showed a GPS tracker head installed on Lisa's phone as part of the security system. She was still at home, moving between the bedrooms, presumably packing. Remember the plan, Jake said as we parked a block away. We wait until Trevor arrives. That gives us proof of intent. 20 excruciating minutes later, an expensive black Audi pulled into our driveway. Trevor stepped out looking confident and polished. Through Jake's surveillance app, we could see Lisa answering the door luggage already by the entryway. Sam and Emma appeared in their pajamas looking confused and sleepy. Now, I said. David pulled his patrol car directly behind Trevor's Audi, blocking it in the driveway. Jake and I approached from the street side. The look of shock on Lisa's face when she saw me walking up our front path instead of being in Seattle was momentarily satisfying. Avery, what are you doing here? She stammered automatically, shifting to stand in front of Trevor. Dad, Emma cried out her genuine happiness at seeing me piercing through the fog of anger. This at least told me Lisa's manipulation hadn't completely worked. Trevor stepped forward, assuming a professional demeanor. Mr. Jackson, this is unexpected. Perhaps we could talk inside, like adults. Before I could respond, David approached his uniform, creating an immediate change in Trevor's expression. Trevor Wilson, David asked, checking his phone. Interesting. There's an outstanding warrant for your arrest in Bellevue. Failure to appear for charges of fraud. The color drained from Trevor's face. Lisa looked between us, confusion giving way to the dawning realization that her plan was unraveling. What's happening, Mommy? Sam asked, clinging to his sister's hand. I knelt down to their level. Hey, kiddos. There's some grown-up stuff happening right now. Why don't you go with Uncle Jake for a minute, while I talked to Mom? Jake gently guided the children to the living room, while David dealt with an increasingly agitated Trevor outside. Alone in the entryway with Lisa, I kept my voice low and controlled. I know everything. The affair. The lies you've been telling the children. Your plan to take them away tonight. Lisa's face cycled through shock, anger, and finally calculation. You can't prove anything. Actually, I can. Every conversation with Trevor, every time you coached the kids to lie to me, the hotel visits, it's all documented. Her eyes darted to the security camera in the corner, understanding slowly dawning. Those were supposed to be for protection. And they were, I said evenly. Just not in the way you expected. Outside, Trevor was being handcuffed and placed in the patrol car, his legal threats falling on deaf ears. Lisa's shoulders slumped. What happens now? Now, I said. Firmly. I take care of my children. Martin's already filed for emergency temporary custody, which will be granted given the evidence of your plan to flee with them. I walked past her to the living room where Sam and Emma sat on the couch, looking frightened and confused. I sat between them, putting an arm around each. Dad, are you mad at us? Sam asked in a small voice. No, buddy. Not at all. I love you both more than anything in the world. But Mom said you don't want to be with us, Emma whispered. That's why you go away. My heart broke hearing the confusion in her voice. That's not true, sweetheart. I go away for work sometimes, but I always want to be with you. You're the most important people in my life. Emma's eyes filled with tears. Really? You don't think I'm annoying? Who told you that I asked gently already knowing the answer? Mommy said you told her I talk too much and it annoys you. I pulled her close. I love hearing everything you have to say. Every single word. Slowly, tentatively, Emma wrapped her arms around me. Sam watched for a moment before joining the hug. Over their heads, I saw Lisa standing in the doorway, tears streaming down her face as she realized what she'd nearly destroyed. 3 months later, I sat on the porch of our new house, watching Sam and Emma play in the yard with the puppy we'd adopted last week. The fall leaves created a colorful carpet for their game of tag, their laughter healing something in me that had been broken that terrible night. The transition hadn't been easy. The first few weeks after Lisa's betrayal were a blur of legal meetings, therapy appointments, and sleepless nights. The court had granted me primary custody with Lisa, allowed supervised visitation while she underwent therapy for her manipulative behaviors. Trevor had faced his fraud charges and was no longer in the picture. We had moved to a new home, a fresh start away from the painful memories. A modest but comfortable 4-bedroom house, with a big yard closer to Jake's apartment. He came over several times a week, resuming his role as the fun uncle and rebuilding his relationship with the kids. Dr. Levinson, the children's therapist, had been instrumental in helping Sam and Emma process everything. Children are resilient, Shed told me during our first session. With consistent love and honest communication, they can overcome even severe parental alienation. She had been right. Gradually, the wall Lisa had tried to build between us crumbled. Emma no longer flinched when I reached to hug her. Sam had stopped checking with me if I really wanted to play catch with him, or if I was too busy. Becoming a single father, while maintaining my career, had required significant adjustments. I had negotiated a new position with my company that required only occasional travel and allowed for regular work from home days. My income had decreased, but the trade-off was worth every penny to be present for morning pancakes and bedtime stories. Jake walked out onto the porch carrying 2 beers. They look happy, he observed, handing me a bottle. They are, I agreed. Most days anyway. The healing wasn't complete. There were still moments when one of the kids would repeat something Lisa had told them, some small poison about how I didn't really care. Each time I would gently correct the misconception, then make a note to discuss it with Dr. Levinson. Lisa herself had undergone changes in the past months. After the initial anger and denial, Shed experienced what seemed like genuine remorse. Her therapist had identified deep-seated abandonment issues stemming from her own childhood that had manifested in her destructive behavior. It didn't excuse what Shed done, but it helped me understand it. Last week she had her first unsupervised visit with the kids. They had come home talking excitedly about the park and ice cream, without any of the tension that had marked earlier visits. It was a small step, but an important one. "Have you thought about dating again?" Jake asked, interrupting my thoughts. I shook my head. Not yet. The kids need stability right now, not a parade of new women in their lives. Fair enough, Jake nodded. But don't close yourself off forever. You're too good a man to spend the rest of your life alone. I smiled at my brother, overwhelmed with gratitude for his intervention that night. Without him, I might have lost my children forever. Thank you, I said simply. For everything. Jake clinked his bottle against mine. Family first. Always. We sat in companionable silence, watching the sun begin its descent. Emma had tired of the game, and was now sitting on the grass making a leaf crown. Sam was throwing a ball for the puppy, his patient repetition showing a maturity beyond his years. The past months had taught me painful lessons about trust and vigilance. But they'd also reinforced the most important truth in my life: being a father was my greatest privilege and responsibility. Dad watched this, Sam called, demonstrating a new trick Head taught our energetic puppy. Watching buddy, I called back. And I was. Not just the trick, but everything. Their growth, their healing, their happiness. I would never again be too busy or distracted to notice what mattered most. The road ahead would have its challenges. Co-parenting with Lisa. Helping the children process their complex feelings. Finding a new normal for our family. But looking at my children playing in the golden afternoon light, I felt something I'd thought had lost forever hope. The betrayal had nearly destroyed us. But in surviving it, Wed found a stronger, more authentic connection. I'd learned to be not just a provider, but a truly present father. Sam and Emma had learned that love wasn't conditional or transactional, but constant and reliable. Sometimes the most painful experiences lead to the most profound growth. As I watched my son teaching his sister to throw the ball for our excitable puppy, I knew one thing for certain. No business trip, no relationship, nothing would ever again come before these precious moments with my children. Have you ever had a moment that completely changed your perspective on what truly matters in life? Share your story in the comments below. And if this story resonated with you, please hit that like button and subscribe to hear more real-life experiences. Remember to share this with someone who might need to hear that even after betrayal, healing is possible. Thank you for listening to my journey, and I wish you strength and clarity in navigating your own path forward.